Hello student, welcome to the new session of the physiology. In this lecture, we will see about the generation of the action potential. What is action potential and how it is being generated. What is action potential? A brief, rapid, sequential change in the membrane potential, that is called as action potential. What causes the generation of action potential? A threshold stimulus. If it is given to the membrane, it will generate the action potential. Let's try to look at this figure. As we will see here, this is a stimulator which will induce some of the positive charges here in the membrane. The current will flow, and because of this stimulation, the action potential will be generated in this membrane. And this action potential will travel to this membrane, cell membrane, and ultimately we have got these two recording electrodes. So one electrode is placed outside, whereas the one electrode is placed inside. So what we are going to record is that whenever the action potential is reaching the membrane here, what are the changes that are taking place in the membrane, that is the membrane potential at this point. That is what we will record, and we will get this type of graph. So as you can see here, on the x-axis this is the time scale, and on the y-axis this is the voltage, millivolt. Now how much is the normal resting membrane potential? Minus 70 millivolt. So initially the potential was at the minus 70 millivolt. And then what we record is, this is the stimulus artifact. Stimulus artifact is recorded because of the leakage of the current from the stimulators, that is stimulating electrodes. So stimulus artifact is recorded. Then afterwards, this is the period which is called as the latent period. What is the cause of this latent period? The action potential will be generated at this point, and then action potential will travel from here to this point. So this is the time required to travel the action potential from the stimulus point to the recording point. So that is what we generate the latent period. And then what we see here is that the membrane potential will go from minus 70 to minus 55 millivolt. Now this change, this slow change we can say from minus 70 to minus 55 millivolt is because of the stimulus. Now what the stimulus it has done? It has taken the membrane potential from minus 70 to minus 55 millivolt. That means slightly the membrane potential has become positive. But then what happens? This we will call it as the firing level. So what is the firing level? The minus 55 millivolt in this graph, and it is the level, it is the point from which the rapid depolarization phase will start. So as you can see here, from this point now, there is a rapid depolarization phase. What do you mean by depolarization phase? The polarity has been abolished now. As you can see here, the potential can reach up till 0 millivolt. Not only that, but even it can go up till plus 35 millivolt. So this phase is called as depolarization phase. But afterwards what happens? This is the overshoot. We can call this as this part of the action potential even as overshoot, because it has the membrane potential has caused the 0 millivolt. So this is the over spike potential or the overshoot potential. What happens after the depolarization? Now the process of repolarization will begin. What will happen in repolarization? The membrane potential will again come back to its original level. So this process is called as repolarization. Now, as you can see in this figure, the membrane potential has reached to its resting membrane value, that is the minus 70 millivolt. But then also it continues to hyperpolarize, or the membrane potential becomes more negative in this sense. So this last part of the repolarization is also called as after depolarization, and when the membrane potential becomes hyperpolarized, this part will be called as after hyperpolarization. So what are the important points you have to remember? You have to remember the firing level. That means the stimulus will take the membrane potential to the firing level. Value of the membrane potential, from which point the depolarization process will start, and now there is no stoppage of the action potential. The action potential will be generated, and the rapidly depolarization will take place, then followed by the repolarization, after depolarization, and the after hyperpolarization. So these are the various phases of the action potential. Now we will see for what causes the generation of the action potential. Now we will see what causes the generation of the action potential. For that, you have to revise about the ion channels. What are the ion channels? These are the integral protein will form the channels which are specific for some ion. They will be specific depending upon the size of the channel. It will specific upon the lining, the charge which is lining the channel. So these are called as ion channels. As you can see, these are the integral proteins. They will pass through the membrane. As you can see in this figure, suppose this is the cell membrane. So these are the one which are integral proteins, and this is an ion channel. Now in the resting stage, this ion channel might remain open so that the permeability is there, or it might remain in a closed state. If it remains in a closed state, there are a number of factors which can cause opening of this channel. So we will call this as a gate of the channel, which will open and close in response to some factor. Now, which can be those factors? The resting membrane potential is minus 70 millivolt. Suppose this channel remain closed at minus 70 millivolt. But whenever the membrane potential reaches to the threshold level, let's say minus 55 millivolt, then these channels will open. So these channels, in this case, they will be called as voltage gated channel. So what do you mean by voltage gated channel? They will open or close in response to change in the membrane potential or the voltage of the membrane. This is called as voltage gated channels. Some other type of channels which can be open. Suppose if this is having a receptor for some hormone. Now whenever some hormone will combine with this receptor hormone complex ultimately is going to cause the opening of this channel. So this type of channels in this case will be called as the ligand gated channels. So which are the two types of channels? Voltage gated channels and the ligand gated channels. Now the point you have to remember is that the cell membrane of an excitable tissue, which mainly participate in the generation of the action potential, are the voltage gated sodium and potassium channel. So what the cell membrane have? Number of this voltage gated sodium and potassium channel. Now if at all any electrical stimulus of a sufficient strength, if it is causing the membrane potential to reach to the threshold level now, which will cause opening and closing of these channels. So the channels will open for some time and again they will close. These are the voltage gated channels. And when they will open, if the membrane potential goes to the threshold level. As you can see here, this is the sodium channel and this is the potassium channels. So this is the situation at the rest for the sodium channel. They are closed. When they will get activated, when the membrane potential reaches to the firing level or the threshold level, they will get activated. The gate has opened up. But after some time, when the membrane potential again changes to a different level, this gate will get closed. So opening of this gate and closing of this gate is controlled by the membrane potential. For the sodium voltage gated channels, we can call this as an activation gate. This can be called as the activation gate. Whereas the one which will close down and ultimately stop the influx of the sodium ion, this will be called as the inactivation gate. So the sodium channels have got the activation gate and the inactivation gate. Look at this potassium channel now. What is the situation at the rest? It is in the closed state. But again, whenever the membrane potential reaches to the threshold of firing level, now what will happen? This gate will open up. And again, after some time, this gate will close. So opening or closing of this gate again is controlled by the membrane potential. But as you can see here, the potassium channel has got only one gate, the activation gate. It does not have the inactivation gate as that of the sodium channel. One more difference you can note down between the sodium and the potassium voltage gated channel as written here is that sodium channels are fast to open and fast to close, whereas potassium channels are lazy. They are slow to open and slow to close. So remember this important difference. Sodium channels will open fast and close fast, and whereas the potassium channels will open slowly and they will close slowly. Right? Now, what causes depolarization? Let's try to understand the first phase, that is the depolarization. So who takes the membrane potential to the firing level or the threshold level? Any sufficient strength of stimulus. That is the threshold stimulus we call it as. Right? Subthreshold stimulus will not generate the action potential because they will not take the membrane potential to the threshold level. Change the membrane potential slightly, such as from minus 70 it can become minus 65. But this minus 65 level is not a firing level. So therefore minus 65 level, which will be called as the local potential, now will not be able to generate the action potential. Action potential will be generated only by the threshold stimulus, who is able to take the membrane potential to the firing level. So what will happen when the membrane potential is taken to the firing level? By the stimulus, threshold stimulus, voltage gated sodium and potassium channels will open. If there is an opening of voltage gated sodium and potassium channels, now remember the difference. Sodium channels are fast to open, fast to close. Potassium channels are slow to open, slow to close. So which channels will open first? The voltage gated sodium channels. Now the voltage gated sodium channels are open. And now if you recall, both the concentration gradient as well as the electrical gradient for the sodium ion is directed inside. Equilibrium potential value for the sodium ion is plus 61 millivolts. So it will try to take there will be rapid sodium influx. A positive ion is moving inside, and if at all, if it is possible for the sodium ion, it will try to take the membrane potential towards plus 61 millivolt. So what will happen because of that? There is a phase of depolarization. The membrane potential from minus 55 level will go to minus 45, minus 30, minus 20, it can go to 0, and even it can reach to plus 35 millivolt. But what if at all it is only in the hands of sodium, it will take it up till plus 61 millivolt. But what happens now? The inactivation gate of the sodium channel will start to close down. Not only that now, but the lazy potassium channels, they are completely open now. And what has happened now? Inside has become positive, outside has become negative because of the influx of sodium ion. And now the concentration and electrical gradient for the potassium is directed outside. So what will happen? There is rapid efflux of potassium will start now, whereas the sodium influx will decrease now. A positive ion is going outside. Now that will become much more dominant. And then what will happen because of that? There is a membrane potential again will try to come back to its original level. This process, this phase will be called as repolarization. So what is the cause of repolarization? Potassium current for outside. Okay, from inside the potassium will move to outside. So therefore there is a phase of repolarization. And next, what causes the hyperpolarization then after hyperpolarization? As I have told you, the potassium channels, they are lazy. They are slow to open, slow to close. They should close down when the membrane potential comes to the resting membrane level. But since they don't close completely, and what is the equilibrium potential value for the potassium ion? It is minus 94 millivolt, if you remember. So they will try to take the membrane potential towards minus 94 millivolt, and therefore there is a phase of hyperpolarization. But the membrane potential will not go up till minus 94 millivolt, because now the sodium potassium ATPase pump, that will become dominant one now. The potassium efflux, which is the potassium efflux which is taking place, it is overridden by the sodium potassium ATPase pump now. And what the sodium potassium ATPase pump will do? It will take 3 sodium ions from inside, it will put it outside, and the 2 potassium ions will put it inside. Not only that, but now the potassium channels will start closing down. So ultimately, because of this, slowly the membrane potential will be brought back to the resting membrane potential value, mainly because of the sodium potassium ATPase pump. So again, I will just recall the phases of the action potential. The stimulus will take it to the firing level. At the firing level, there is opening of the voltage gated sodium and potassium channels. Sodium channels are fast to open, fast to close. Potassium channels are slow to open, slow to close. Sodium channels will open initially fully. Because of that, there is a rapid sodium influx. Now after some time, the sodium inactivation gate will start closing down, and the potassium channels will be fully open. Potassium efflux will start, and now there is a phase of repolarization. Potassium channels, since they are lazy, they are slow to close down. So therefore the potassium efflux continues even after the membrane potential has reached to the resting membrane level. But then because of that, there is a phase which is called as hyperpolarization. But because of the sodium potassium ATPase pump and closing down of the potassium channels, the membrane potential is brought back to the resting membrane potential value. So this brief rapid sequential change in the membrane potential is called as action potential. With this, we come to the end of this lecture. Thank you.